ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Inside the American Dynasty League. Woo! With me, as always, is the commish, Clyde, Randall, Waters, and Math Boy, Alan Henley. We're gonna start this week off by looking at last week's Mama Matchup of the Week.
Mama Matchup of the Week.
All right. Oops, I accidentally played it twice. Last week's matchup of the week was between who? Math Boy.
Look, I think it deserved to be played twice. It was such a great matchup. We had the Farty McFart Faces and the Winterfell Direwolves head-to-head last week, and boy, was it close. Not a super high-scoring matchup, but a close one. It ended with about a 4-point victory for the Farty McFart Faces, continuing their streak of winning to 5 games. Man, they are on a tear. That name, I think, really gave them an identity, something to play for. Who wouldn't want to play for the Farty McFart Faces?
It was a super close game. I really thought I could pull it off. I actually pulled O.J. Howard at the last minute. And really regret that decision.
Should have picked up a different kicker.
Yeah, you went for the zero strategy. You did.
Zero strategy doesn't work for kicker and defense.
The kicker and defense strategy is a very tough one to overcome.
I just would have thought that somehow Indiana or the Colts would have gotten to kick a field goal.
You would think, but...
I mean, here's one other thing that's crazy here. The Farty McFart Faces had 4 players under 5 points and still pulled off a win in this matchup.
Yeah. Wow.
Turns out my team may be terrible.
They might just be. I mean, another thing to look at here is the efficiencies. Winterfell Direwolves only had a 79.4% efficiency, and Farty McFart Faces had a 92.7%. But if both teams had their optimal lineups in, Winterfell Direwolves would have got the win. So, that shows how important efficiency could really be, and, I mean, definitely doing your due diligence to figure out the best lineup you can have.
Yep. And this win squeaked out by the Farty McFart Faces puts them with a 5-game win streak.
Wow. Nice. That was nice. That's a good one.
Well, congratulations, Farty McFart Face. With your farty face, you won this week. But hopefully, if we play again, I will destroy you.
I feel that pain. I want to destroy him as well.
All right. Any other notable matchups we want to take a look at this week, Commish?
Well, one matchup I was going to have us take a look at was the Fast and Furious against the Mud Dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Mud Dogs versus the Fast and
That
the
was a
Furious.
matchup right
This
there.
was a matchup. It came down to late Monday night.
It all comes down to Monday night.
Oh, man.
Let's see here. The Fast and Furious beat a tough Mud Dog team with a score of 148.52 to 144.72, extending the Fast and Furious' win streak to 3 games.
Man!
3 games, wow.
They were led to their 3.8 victory by none other than Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz, baby.
Knocking off number 1 in the division, right?
Oh, big win here. Big win.
Wow.
You got some great players in this team. Carson Wentz, who could be up for league MVP. Gordon Melvin, who didn't look too hot this week, but has been a stud for most of the season. Christian McCaffrey, who, even though the Panthers really sucked this week, put together somewhat of a game. It just all came through for Fast and Furious. Mud Dogs looked solid. It just wasn't enough this week.
Yeah, you mentioned that with Fast and Furious pulling through. This truly, seriously came down to one of the final plays of Monday night.
It all comes down to Monday night.
Jake Elliott walks out there, the kicker for Philadelphia, to kick a field goal. And a 40-something yard field goal. If he makes it, the Mud Dogs win the game. If he misses it, Fast and Furious wins the game. He missed.
Oh, this is the same Jake Elliott that the Bengals released?
This is the same Jake Elliott that the Bengals released.
This is the same Jake Elliott who won a game earlier this season with a kick?
This is the same Jake Elliott that won a game earlier with a kick. Yeah.
Interesting.
This is the same Jake Elliott that the Bengals should have never cut. But they did.
Well, I mean, if he's missing field goals, why keep him?
Yeah, because we have the prime field goal kicker.
Hey,
Randy Bullock!
He kicks the bullock out of the ball.
He didn't miss it. Did he miss it? Has he missed one this year?
I think so.
Maybe? I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. I just ask the question.
We don't watch football. We just talk about football.
Yeah, I just look at the paper and tell them what it says.
Any other matches we want to take a look at, Math Boy?
Not really. Just overall this week, games were close.
Very close week.
We had almost every game was within like a 15-point, margin of victory, aside from one, and really it was just a good all-around competitive week of fantasy football. I think it's really showing the league is starting to figure this out. Mm-hmm. They're starting to figure the Dynasty League out, and they're really starting to understand who to play when.
All right, let's move on to our awards of the week. This week, we're starting off with the Hershey Milk Dud of the week. This one goes to the dud player that's usually a stud and just had an awful performance, and that is going out to who this week, Math Boy?
This week, it goes to none other than Cameron Newton. He had .84 points, which is better than negative points than some other quarterbacks have had this year. But he had 2 INTs, with one of them being a pick six, a fumble, just a bad overall week, owned by the Black Stags.
Yep.
Oh, man. That was a rough performance from a quarterback.
Bad decision.
If
I just would have benched him and played Matt Ryan, I would have won this week.
Man, it's almost as if he walked out of the game like he did that press conference.
I know. Is his name really Cameron?
I don't know.
He's up for on the trading block if anybody's interested.
If anyone wants his hot garbage quarterback, you're welcome to him. Next up, we got the Ram Pickup of the Week, brought to you by Ram. Who is this one going to this week? Kamish.
Oh, the pickup. The pickup of the week.
He's all choked up about it.
Yeah. The pickup of the week goes out to the Subliminal Criminals, who finally picked up some running backs that actually run the ball somewhat. They have Orleans Darkwa and Dion Lewis. Calling the pickup of the week there.
They helped out this week. They really did.
Yeah.
Whoa. We're giving it to 2 people? We give it to 1. There's one pickup of the week. It's not pickups of the week.
Look, it is my running back.
Well, the pickup of the week was Subliminal Criminals picking up a running back core.
That is a pickup right there.
I don't care for it.
Look, it doesn't have any specification. It doesn't say anywhere.
A free agent pickup. It's very clear.
Yeah.
1 pickup.
I had
1 agent.
I had 1 set of pickup, yes.
No, 1. It's 1 person.
Look, if you
I'm
feel this passionately about it,
Dion Lewis is out. He didn't get it. The other one got it.
Okay, no, actually,
if you feel this passionately about it, you should read the show notes before we do the show.
Or pick the awards yourself.
Anyways.
Moving on. The Whoopin' of the Week, brought to you by Mike's Bodega, is going out to who? Kamish.
Well, the biggest whoopin' thing, beatdown, the Mike's Bodega beatdown, goes out to, again, the Subliminal Criminals with their win over Big Ben's love child, a 36-point victory.
I really hate Ben Roethlisberger.
Ooh.
And the team name, I needed to be...
Just beating his love child makes you feel good.
It does. Sorry, Jack, but it had to happen.
Oh.
All right, no close shave of the week this week. You got to be within 2 points for that. So next up, we got the Resurrected Team of the Week, brought to you by Lazarus Department Stores. And that one is going out to the Subliminal Criminals again. Did you just give yourself all the awards?
Not by choice here.
54.38 point turnaround and a victory this week.
If you want
earned. It was earned.
If you want other teams to get awards, other teams need to do things. I had the biggest win. I had the biggest margin after losing last week to a team I shouldn't have lost to.
I'm not saying it. Hey, you earned it. I'll give it to you.
I had a good week, all right? I'm really on a high note about it.
All right. There's one award you didn't get.
And that's the Poopery Poo Poo Team of the Week.
I wish I would have
and
gotten
that
this
one is going out to who, Kamish?
the Red Squirrels. Only putting up
man.
89.7 points this week.
Losing Aaron Rodgers must hurt.
Ooh.
Real bad.
Oh, man. Seeing Joe Mixon.
How bad does it hurt?
Real bad.
Joe Mixon not getting any play in the second half of that game, too, after spending $31 on him. Ooh. Hey, he'll be cheap for you next season, though.
I don't know about that.
Well, sorry, won't go up much. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right. Last award we got this week is the Breakout Player of the Week, brought to you by Proactive. And this one is going out to who, Math Boy?
This one is going out to none other than Amari Cooper.
Started by
Me.
the Subliminals. So tired of talking about this team.
Look,
Good
he got 44 points after doing nothing all year. It was I had a good week.
No one else did good, huh?
It wasn't
There was only one other player could have possibly been in my eyes, and that's Ted Ginn, but he only got 21. Wasn't even half the amount that Amari Cooper got.
All right. Look, if I don't have to do it, you can give yourself the awards. I'm fine with it. Because otherwise I got to look at all those numbers, and numbers make my head hurt.
It's not that I want to give myself awards around here. It's that I earned myself awards.
Oh, yeah, sure. All right.
Let's move into some Dynasty quick hits.
The Dynasty Quick Hits. Wow.
Let's use this segment today to talk about where we stand in the league.
Good. And you should do it, because I don't see any notes about it.
All right. So, in our blue division, the top of the division right now is a neck-to-neck tie between the Mud Dogs and the Harrison Bullfrogs, both of which have a 5-4 record. The Mud Dogs, though, do have an edge with more points scored this season, with 1,010 points scored, where the Harrison Bullfrogs are almost 100 points less at 908 points. And rounding out the bottom of the blue division is the Red Squirrels, who look promising early this season, but have fallen off quite a bit due to injuries and poor team management. Let's look at the Red division.
You might be careful to spend $31 on a player that you don't even know is going to play.
Anyways, top of the Red division right now, we have the Hairy Berries sitting at 7-2. They should be 6-3, but the Black Stags are just horrible. Anyways, right behind the Hairy Berries, nipping at our heels, you have the Farty McFartfaces and the Subliminal Criminals with 6-3 records. They've essentially now edged out the Dire Wolves from being close to the top of that division. This division is heated. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving things. There's a matchup coming up that could totally revamp at the top of this division. However, the interesting thing is the scores for this, points scored for this division are quite low compared to the other division. So we'll see how it turns out for the end of this year. But Red division is definitely hot right now. Definitely hot.
So hot right now.
So can I ask you a question about this real quick? The Red Squirrels, the owner of the Red Squirrels and the owner of Hairy Berries, they are married, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Good job.
How can one be so good and the other be so bad?
We've asked that question for many years.
Man, you should really maybe find some tips somewhere. You live with the person. You have full access to talk to them anytime you want.
Also, quick update on the fantasy pool picks. The Mud Dogs are in the league now with 31 correct picks so far this season.
Nice. Way to go, Mud Dogs.
And then we have a sequential order going down with Subliminal Criminals with 29 picks correct. Fast and Furious at 28. Hairy Bears at 27. The Red Squirrels at 26. And then it kind of falls off to 24 and lower there. Anyways, way to be up on your fantasy pool picks and pay attention to the league, Mud Dogs. Keep it up.
I'm coming for you.
All right, and those were your fantasy quick hits. Let's take a look at next week's matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
This week's matchup of the week is a very big game. First place on the line, if I remember what was said a couple minutes ago, we got the Hairy Berries versus the Subliminal Criminals. Math Boy, break it down. Give us some numbers, some math equation things that happen with math.
Well, okay. This is a rematch of Week 1, I believe, where the Subliminal Criminals pulled out a victory. It's going to be interesting. This time we have bye weeks. So on the Harry Berry side, they're missing Todd Gurley. And on Subliminal Criminals, they have all their position players, but they're going to find a new defense and a new kicker this week, which really hurts Subliminal Criminals. They're getting so many points from that Jacksonville defense. This is going to be a close matchup. Once both teams fill out their starting lineups, I can't imagine they're very far apart. And I think this one is just going to be a shootout. I really do.
Yep. As you're saying, the Harry Berries, who currently, like we said, are 7-2, are out for revenge this week. After they lost to the Criminals Week 1 by 38 points, they hope to extend this 4-game win streak that the Harry Berries are on when they face off against, like I said earlier, the Subliminal Criminals, who are just behind them in the league standings, at the Subliminal Criminals house, which is known as the Subway Federal Penitentiary.
Oh.
So maybe that's what you named your field.
I did.
Interesting. So I sent our crack reporter team out. And
What does that mean?
I don't remember that, by the way.
Our crack team of reporters?
Why is it crack? What kind of crack is it?
They smoke a lot of crack. And because of that, they're really amped up and they do a really good job.
Okay.
Well, that's good then.
And they were able to talk to owner and head coach of the Harry Berries, Allison Berry. And she said, and I quote, "We have to shore up our defense." So you got that going.
Really? Because I see that's the key statistic.
I have her on record as saying we have to play with our ears pinned back.
Well, I mean, it was an interview. She said more than one thing. Give me
Right.
5 words.
All right.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
I also sent the reporters out to talk to one Alan Henley,
There you go. Yep.
owner of the Subliminal Criminals, otherwise known as Math Boy.
That was intimidating.
And he said, we must capitalize on our opportunities.
He also said we have to crank it up.
I mean, really, statistics tell the whole story.
Math.
It's
Yeah,
fitting.
anyway.
It's fitting that I said
All
that,
right.
you know? I mean,
Math Boy, who you taking?
Look, I gotta take myself. Subliminal Criminals. You guys should too.
Commish, who you taking?
You know you want to.
I'll go Harry Berries.
He's going Harry Berries. I'm going Harry Berries because I believe in you, sis. You're going to pull off a win. I love you so much. I'm proud of you either way, but mostly only if you win. Next, let's get into our 2-minute drill. 2-minute drill.
Drill.
All right. The timer didn't start. That's upsetting. I'll just start it now. All right. We got the Mud Dogs versus the Red Squirrels. Who are you taking, Commish?
Let's see here. In this intra-league matchup, you get the 5-4 Mud Dogs taking on the Red Squirrels, who are 2-7. I'm taking the Mud Dogs. They're heavily favored.
Math Boy.
Red Squirrels haven't really done much without Aaron Rodgers. I'm taking the Mud Dogs.
I'm taking the Mud Dogs too, brother. I'm sorry. That is a sweep. Next up, we got the Schmitty Morgan Vigorvin versus the Harrison Bullfrogs. Math Boy, who you taking?
Taking the Bullfrogs. Even though the Werber Jagerman Jensen's come off a win, I just don't see it.
Commish.
Well, the Bullfrogs beat the Schmitty Werben Jagerman Jensens by 54 points back in week 1. However, there's been a lot of injuries to the Bullfrogs. You got Marshawn on suspension now. And I think this is going to be a close one. I'm giving the edge to the Schmitty Werber Jagerman Jensens.
All right. I am taking the Frogs because they can't say the other team's name very well. Next up, we got the Mama's Boys versus the Fast and the Furious. Commish, who you taking?
Well, Fast and Furious squeaked out a win last time they played the Mama's Boys by 5 points. They are both at 4-5 in the records of standing. I think the Fast and Furious have been on a bit of a streak. I'm sticking with the Fast and Furious.
All right, Math Boy.
I have to agree. The Fast and Furious are on a Fast and Furious streak, and they keep it going. Fast and Furious.
I'm taking the Fast and the Furious 2, which makes this one a sweep. Next up, we got Farty McFartface versus Big Ben's Love Child. A rematch of unnamed teams who now have weird team names because we named them as a league. Commish, who are you taking?
I'm going with Big Ben's Love Child and that win streak of Farty McFartface.
Math Boy?
Big Ben's Love Child.
And just because it seems to be good luck for Farty McFartface when none of us take him, I'm taking Farty McFartface. Just so we don't sweep against him for the third week in a row and he wins.
All right.
Did we really sweep it? Oh, yeah, we did.
Next up, we got the Black Stags versus the Winterfell Direwolves. This one could get ugly. Math Boy, who are you taking?
Wait, just kidding. I'm taking the Wolves.
The Direwolves, all right! Commish, Clyde, Randall, Waters, who are you taking?
The Stags beat the Wolves by 40 points in week 1, and it's going to happen again here in week 8.
I'm taking the Wolves because I believe in myself, even though a lot of the time I am wrong. All right, and that does it for the 2-minute drill, which according to our timer was over 2 minutes, but that's okay. We might need to change the name.
How much over were we?
It doesn't tell me that.
I need to know how much over we are so I can recalibrate.
It goes to 0. I can see if I can have it count up once it hits 0.
Okay.
Or we can have it count up and just see how long it takes.
Or we just don't talk about it next time. They may never know.
Hey,
It's fine. We call it 2-minute drill. Let's hold ourselves accountable.
I like it.
I just, we have the potential of it being like a minute if we don't properly.
Look, I figured out how to do a timer, and so I want to use a timer this week. Next up, we got the question of the week brought to you by Clyde Randall Waters, otherwise known as the Commish. What's the question of the week, sir?
Well, last week we asked the question if Adrian Peterson was the real deal after that breakout a couple weeks ago. 3 of you said yes, he's the real deal. 6 of you said no, his performance was a fluke. And well, after another week, we lean more towards the fluke side. There's still a lot left this season, but we still can't make a determination if he's the real deal or not this season. Question this week is, which team do you think will finish at top of the red division when we hit the playoffs? The Subliminal Criminals, the Harry Berries, or, surprisingly, the Farty McFartfaces?
Oh, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for us this week. Get your picks in, fill out the question of the week, set your lineups, have fun, stay safe out there. Yeah, that's it for us. You guys got anything? Last minute things?
Stay sexy.
All right.
Woo, sexy.
Bang!
Bang! Bang!